Good morning, everybody. I'm Chris. This is The Great Indoors, and today I'm trying to remember stuff. Okay. All right. The lead time required when requesting an FAA waiver. 90 days. Cool. What are the properties of Class C airspace? Okay, so this is the airspace around the smaller airports. It usually goes from 0 to 2,500 MSL. Miles radius intershell. Oh, okay. I was thinking of Class D airspace, not Class C airspace. In my defense, I haven't had my coffee. So what am I doing? This is SRS, or Spaced Repetition Systems. The app itself is called Mochi, and it's one of the many SRS applications you can get. SRS takes advantage of how your brain retains information. You create flashcards, and the cards themselves can be organized in any way you like. You can create a deck for a particular subject matter that you want to deal with. And Mochi keeps track of when you should be reviewing cards and when to schedule things further out as you get them right. And if you get them wrong, then it schedules them a little bit sooner, and that way you can review it a little bit more. So for example, these cards I've encountered maybe every couple of days, and if I get it right, then it'll be a little bit longer. But if I get it wrong, I'm going to see it a little bit sooner. When you're presented with new information, the brain stores that information in an area that's responsible for the short-term memory. And it literally physically creates little synapses that represent that information as it cascades through your brain. As you continue to encounter that information transitions into the long-term portion of your brain, again, as synapses in the neurons that are there. But if you don't encounter that information ever again, or very few times, then the synapses that were created that represent that information eventually erode and go away, and then you don't remember it. So SRS tries to take advantage of that by drilling you on the information just before it leaves your brain. Now, at some point, this could have a theoretical limit, right? If we all drilled on the flashcards of the information that we encountered on a daily basis that we actually wanted to hold on to, then at some point, all we'd be doing is drilling on flashcards. But you don't need to. Like, at some point, that information is with you, and you don't really need to review it anymore. And then eventually those cards go away and replaced with the new information that you encounter. I don't think I've ever talked about it on my channel before, but I got a drone. It's just a little guy. It's so cute. He unfolds, though. He gets bigger. He's a grower, not a shower. I became really interested in aerial photography, and I decided I would go and get a drone. They're great. I love it. But a friend of mine who was already a drone pilot, there you go. That's what it looks like fully deployed. At some point, maybe I'll make a video specifically about this. But a friend of mine who's also a drone pilot let me know that any aerial photography that I got, I couldn't put in any of my videos because in order to use a drone for commercial purposes, you need a Part 107 certification. This is essentially a drone pilot's license that allows you to use drones for commercial purposes and use the footage that you get in your videos, especially if that video has a potential to be monetized. So I didn't want to get all this really cool footage and not be able to share it with people, so I decided to go get my Part 107 certification. And that was when I encountered SRS, and I realized that, hey, maybe I could use this to help me out. So I managed to study for and take the exam all within the span of about a week. And because I was able to drill on flashcards, I was able to retain that information. And maybe at some point I will do a video on the Part 107 as well, especially because there are a lot of websites out there that would love for you to pay them money to help you study for your Part 107 certification. And there's no problem with that at all. That's great. That's super helpful for some people. But I'm stubborn and I don't want to pay people to help me do things when I feel like I could do them myself. So I did it this way and it worked for me. Okay, buddy, let's put you away. It's like a puzzle. Nope, that way. And now you guys, look at it. It's so cute. Unfortunately, the one thing I didn't do was create a flashcard reminding me that I have an SRS system I can use, because I completely forgot about it. I got my Part 107 certification, I shelved Mochi, and never opened it again. That was a mistake, because I wasn't drilling on that information. It's not like I fly my drone every day, and so a lot of that information went away. But more than that, it didn't even occur to me that, hey, it worked really well for this. Maybe you could use it for other things. So I decided to get it back out, re-drill myself on the information I should have known in the first place. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I will show you some amazing drone footage that I got. So I've realized in my advanced age that I don't retain information like I used to. It's not so much that I forget the information I learned from the past. It's more about the new information that I encounter in the future. I read a lot of books, a lot of papers, and there's a lot of that I absolutely absorb. But there's quite a bit of it that I lose as well, and I would really love to retain those little details that really become important as you learn other things. So I decided to dust off my SRS application, start making flashcards for the new information I encounter, and get better at retaining information. But in order to do something like this, you have to build really good habits. And it's not just about coming down here in the morning and going through the flashcards I have due that day, but you have to start building in the habits of actually creating the flashcards in the first place as you encounter new information. And for that, I use AI. So I've already talked a little bit about how I use AI to improve how I read things. And if you haven't seen that, you can probably catch it by clicking on the link somewhere above my head. But I also use AI to help me take notes and even create flashcards as I go. And just so you don't think I always use ChatGPT, today we're going to use Anthropic's Claude, specifically Claude 3.5. And if you haven't had the chance to use this, it's an amazing model. And I actually find that it does way better at certain tasks than ChatGPT. And this is one of them. So one of the cool things about Claude is that it allows you to upload a document, like a page of notes or whatever it is that you're working with. And it can read that information in and work with it. If you don't want to use the 3.5 model, you can actually pick other ones like Claude 3 Opus, which is also a really great model. It excels at writing and complex tasks, whereas 3.5 is the most intelligent model. You can also pick a style. By default, I have it set to normal, but you can ask it to be concise, more explanatory, or create your own, and you can edit a style that fits you. So if you want it to talk like a pirate, you can have it talk like a pirate. You can even have it connect to Google, and it can work with your Google Docs in creating projects. Projects is also really great because you can work with Claude on a specific thing and save your work and come back to it another time. So, for example, hello Claude, today I would like to make flashcards for my SRS app. And of course it's happy to help me do that. By the way, if you want to know more about SRS, you can use an AI to talk you through it. As always, they know a lot about just about everything, and you can use that to your advantage. So I happen to have a page of notes that I took from a book that I was reading recently. So one thing I can do is just hand that page of notes to Claude, ask it to generate flashcards from the relevant bits of information in my notes, and then import that into Mochi so that I can start drilling on it. And by the way, it does not matter how you take your notes. Some people like to do it with voice capture on their phones. Some people like to just tap out the notes themselves as they go. Some people use AI to capture those notes. But even if you handwrite notes on a piece of paper, all you have to do is take a picture, give it to an AI, and it can convert it to text for you. And presto, you can import it into something like Claude. If you want to see an example of how that could work, click on that link somewhere, and I made a video on something just like that. Coffee. I have a set of notes that I took when I was reading a book recently called The Self-Assembling Brain, How the Brain Creates Itself. It's by Peter Robin Hiesinger. It's super fascinating. It describes how the brain can create itself from a set of instructions. There's no blueprint, no nothing. It just grows, and it's pretty amazing. Sorry, that's not what this video is about. But I took some notes as I went along, and so I'm going to upload those notes to Claude so it can help me create flashcards. Now, full disclosure, I already used AI to clean up the notes a little bit and kind of make them a bit more organized, so I don't take notes this neat. I wish I did. These are my notes. I would like to convert them into flashcards. Try to keep it to about 10 cards. Okay, let's see how it does. So it says it's going to format the notes in a way that would work well for spaced repetition learning. So you can see that it's creating a document here where it has what goes on the front of the card, what goes on the back of the card, and it's put it in JSON format, it looks like. So it's asking me if I'm happy with the notes, so I'm just going to review them real quick and make sure that there's no changes I want to make. So I think I'm going to move forward with this. I'll click publish. So I'm going to go ahead and download this file. Okay, well, I was mistaken about working with a JSON file. Apparently only Markdown or CSV if it's not an Anki or Emoji app. Not a problem. I can just go back to Claude and ask it to convert this into a format I can work with. Apparently I need a CSV format file. So here it is converting this to a CSV file. I can definitely use that. So we'll go ahead and download that. All right, take two. We have a CSV. Yes, we are using quotes and it is comma separated. So we're going to call it neuroscience and add it to that deck. And it looks like it was correct. So now I can go through my new cards and learn that material. There you go. That's how you can use AI to help you create flashcards for Mochi. I could have done all of this by hand, but it would have taken me much longer. And by going through all of this, then I can understand the world a little bit better. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you next time. Bye.